The bleeding of the sidewalks. The story most likely began one early morning when he left his house in search of a living. Don't ask me about his job. Delving into such minor details is like entering the heart of a maze. Think of any lowly, simple, or trivial job. Choose one of those professions that requires no qualifications other than patience and endurance. Then assume that's what he does. Some ways of earning a living bring little more than bread with no regard for dignity. What? Who said something about dignity? Please, take that word back. It wasn't me who said it. It must have been one of those passing, dreamy, nosy people who talk too much about things they haven't experienced up close. All right, what should I say? I don't know. Maybe it's written destiny. If you wish, call it coincidence, or even a deliberate plan. Because the repetition of incidents of this kind with such horror cannot be a coincidence or spontaneous. What? Who said that word? It certainly wasn't me. What fool still believes in spontaneity? Please take that word back too. Even words like anarchy and absurdity are just a deceptive echo of our clashes. Everything is prearranged. The noise and the jumbled sentences are, in reality, scenarios written before the director of the tragedy yells at us, "Action!" And now, do you see where the current of conversation has led us? As he walked down the dark alley, thieves blocked his path. Maybe the alley was dark. I'm not sure, but most of the alleys there are dark. He resisted, and one of them stabbed him in the stomach. The poor man staggered from the wound, and if only it had been superficial. Yet he couldn't die, or even cry out for help to the billions of people in this world.
During his first critical moments, he truly wished to die. The pain rising from the depths of the wound was unbearable. Yet he endured. His soul, which refused to leave his body, forced him to continue walking with the support of the walls, without crying out for rescue or demanding his right to receive first aid and assistance. After a long, very long time, his deliberate steps led him forward, his tragedy exposed by the light of countless suns. His broken body was supported by nothing but his rising breaths, until he stopped in front of the gate of a luxurious store. He wasn't the type of person who would shop at such places. He crossed his arms over the deep wound, looking reverently at a point in the emptiness of the sky like an invisible butterfly. If it hadn't been for the screams of some shopping women, the merchant owner wouldn't have noticed his presence. The merchant came out determined, surrounded by a handful of his assistants who looked like dogs. He yelled at him, "Why are you soiling the doorstep of the shop with your blood?" Without hesitation, the young dog-like men handed him a bucket of water and a broom, then forced him to clean the store's doorstep of his blood, which had disfigured its appearance and left a repulsive impression on the customers. In his complete exhaustion and with great difficulty and helplessness, he cleaned every inch of the doorstep and the opposite sidewalk before continuing his journey toward any place but a hospital, as he suffers from a phobia of hospitals.
We have no explanation for such events, but we live with them, unlike the complaints expressed by a group of patrons at luxurious restaurants who screamed, "That despicable person has ruined our appetite." I believe it has been months now that the bleeding man has been cleaning his blood from the street. Others say the incident began decades ago, and God knows best. As for me, in good faith, I only testify to what I have seen and heard. To get a little closer to accuracy, I'd like to compare this afflicted man to the mythical Sisyphus. Sisyphus lived, and still lives, chasing a trivial stone outside the considerations of time. His condition is just like our friends, who no sooner finishes cleaning one doorstep than he bleeds in front of another, and he doesn't move to the third until he cleans the second doorstep, and so on. It's as if he's playing a game with infinite levels, a game not designed for entertainment. In each round, he needs a full month to move from one street to another. God, the sight is horrifying, sometimes repulsive, and sometimes it becomes normal like any insignificant thing. That existentialist thinker often joined us, with nothing but his recurring astonishment and question, Why didn't this person, stuck in the throat of life like a cankerous almond, end his tragedy with suicide? Whenever he voiced this opinion, we didn't object to his cruelty. We just wished he would go back to the previous paragraphs and reflect on what we pointed out at the moment the bleeding man was stabbed, and how he wished to die. But death is not an easy desire to fulfill.
Then the religious man takes the podium. He doesn't care about our shallow understanding of his intentions. He screams in his annoying voice. This afflicted man reminds us of the prophet Yahya ibn Zachariah and how he continued to address Herod about Herodias, his uncle, lover, or unlawful wife, repeating, "She is not lawful for you. She is not lawful for you." As he described this difficult scene, he tried to scare us, confirming that the severed head continued to speak. Before he could finish his sermon, a person with a confusing opinion, you can't tell if he agrees or disagrees, objected to him. Rather, he is John the Baptist Salome. The first one vehemently rejected the second's claim with his sharp-toned voice. No, his name is Yahya, and the woman's name was... His interlocutor interrupted him coldly. What are your sources? Let's leave them. I don't think their disagreement will ever end. As for me, all I want is for you to feel the same confusion I do, and to anxiously ask yourself, how has this bleeding man managed to stay alive until now? Some skeptics suggest it's a staged show masterminded by a sorcerer. Who knows? Perhaps all these events are just a well-crafted myth, in line with what a team of analysts proposed, who named him the Ghost of the Sidewalks. Some of them, believers in conspiracy theories, see him as nothing but an annoying show from a hologram device.